Now imagine you've just arrived in a huge foreign city with no job and no funds, having fled a war zone. To build a new life for yourself, you'd need to be able to get around cheaply and easily. And that's where a charity based in southeast London comes in, because they're fixing up abandoned bikes and giving them to asylum seekers and refugees to help them make the most of the capital's opportunities. London has 27,000 bikes abandoned each year. These are going to a good home though. They're much needed because there are currently 15 to 20,000 refugees and asylum seekers, all having to live on £36 a week. A travel card costs £21, meaning it's virtually impossible for them to afford to use public transport and be able to eat, often having just fled for their lives.
I came from Iraq, which is the situation a little bit risky. I used to work for a British company in Basra, south of Iraq, and because of the militia and the party over there, my life was a little bit really in a bad situation and dangerous, so I decided to come to Europe.
When Ali first arrived here, he found himself in a large, strange city, but couldn't afford to travel far in it.
Life in London is good, but if you are like an asylum seeker, you have no job, you cannot work, and you do nothing, just sit at home, it will be really complicated and more than depressed. So the good thing, you need to go out, but usually there is nothing close to my home, so everything is far away, and you have no permit and you have no right to work, so even you need to go by walk.
Walking everywhere was often the only form of transport asylum seekers like Ali could manage. But one Londoner had a bright idea.
When I was at university, I joined a mentoring scheme for unaccompanied asylum seekers. And I met this boy called Adam, who was aged just 16. He'd fled Darfur, which is a region in the west of Sudan. He'd fled the conflict there and he'd arrived in the UK with only the clothes on his back and no family at all. He then applied for asylum and was given £36 a week to live off and not allowed to work. He was placed in Hounslow at the end of the Piccadilly line. He couldn't really create a life for himself because he couldn't get anywhere. A train journey to and from London one day was about £8, and if you've just got £36 a week to live off and you're not allowed to work, that's a big chunk of your money. So I got him an old bike, and that was really the first step into normal living for him.
Jem is clearly a man who knows how to turn small ideas into bigger ones though. The bike project here in this railway arch in Deptford means that refugees can now own their very own set of wheels.
I'd seen the benefit that a bike had had to Adam. So in my spare time, I set up a small project in the back garden, collected our bikes, we kind of worked on them in a fairly unskilled sort of way, and we donated them to a local drop-in centre. And after a couple of years of doing that, I sort of saw the impact that it was having, so I ended up leaving my job, starting this an independent charity. Since then, we've donated over 3,500 bikes to refugees and asylum seekers in London. All the bikes are donated to us. Around 3/4 we donate to refugees and asylum seekers, and around 1/4 we sell through our website. 2/3 of our income is derived from grants and donations, and around 1/3 of our income comes from selling bikes, and we use that revenue to invest in our services. We have a team of about 6 mechanics who work here on a day-to-day basis. They're all qualified, or they would have been qualified through a variety of routes.
Those mechanics regularly work on and supply over 100 bikes every month. The unwanted cycles are left at 30 drop-off points, and many look like they've seen better days.
A lot of them are in pretty bad way. They've all been through a whole life of use already. The drivetrains are all worn out quite heavily, tyres are quite worn. Generally they've been left outside, so they're quite rusty. So we try and bring them back to life again. So main things are making sure it's road safe, like replacing the tyres, the chain cassettes, putting your cables on them, any wearable stuff like brake pads, grips, bar tape, that kind of thing, just to get them back on the road again. People come out when they collect the bikes, and I don't think they really fully understand what they're getting until they get it, ride the bike, and then when they leave with their lock and their helmet and their cycle instruction, I think they feel a lot happier than they did when they first arrived.
Every Thursday night, the Railway Arch comes to life as asylum seekers from all over the world come to pick up bikes.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to get you fitted with a cycling helmet.
Helmet?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you cycled in London before?
No.
So it's not the law to wear a helmet, but we recommend it, okay?
It's a very nice helmet. I
Yeah?
love
Do
this
you like
price.
it?
This one? Okay.
It's slightly bigger. So yeah, as I was saying, it's not, you just adjust it here
Yeah.
to put it on, so make it bigger.
Yeah.
And then just try this. There you go.
Alla is kitted out to take to London streets on two wheels for the first time, and it seems that these bikes actually do change the lives of these asylum seekers.
It's not easy when you are just going walking and coming around, but when you had a bicycle, it's more easy to leave and more easy to make a tour around London, and you can go everywhere. And it was really helpful for me.
And owning the bike does more than just getting Ali from A to B.
If you stay home and you have no job, you have no right to work, 100% you're going to be depressed, especially when you are new and foreign in a country, you have not lots of friends. Bicycle will take you out, you'll see people, you smile, you say hi to these people, you sit with these people, you enjoy the life.
Ali is like many asylum seekers who show their gratitude to the project by coming back as unpaid volunteers.
I said, I can volunteer, and immediately they said to me, you can come and join us, because I speak Arabic, English, Farsi, a little bit Turkish. So that helped me to help the people, which is, they are doing a big help for all the refugees. At least we can pay some for this, who's given us lots of help and hope and love.
This is good. Very good. Excellent.
Finally, before they're allowed to take a bike home, everyone is given a quick safety lesson.
I must drive slowly and carefully here in this road.
Yeah.
Because too much big cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lorries.
Lorries.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Keep well back of the lorry.
Yeah.
Never down the left-hand side.
Alla seems to already be getting the hang of his new bike, and like many other asylum seekers is desperate to gain permanent residency and be able to work and make a better life in the future. To stand any chance of succeeding, they really do need to be able to get around our great metropolis, and that's something that two wheels and a set of pedals gives them.
Now I can't go nowhere because if I jump on the bus, then bus conductor, they're there. So with this bike, I can go about my business, like going to about my appointments, going to doctor's appointments. Traffic in London is too much. This bike will get me fast. Yeah, and I like this bike.
Behind me is London Bridge, the oldest Thames crossing in the capital.